All right, let's talk about digital marketing. I know. It can feel like this huge, chaotic, ever-changing puzzle, right? Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're diving into Digital Marketer's Guide to find a really clear, simple path forward.
So, does digital marketing feel overwhelming? Yeah, of course it does. If you've ever felt lost in this world, trust me, you are not alone. It's this endless stream of gurus, shiny new tools and tactics that seem to change like every week. It's exhausting, and it's so easy to feel like you're always one step behind.
But here's where things get interesting. The guide offers this huge shift in perspective. It says, today digital marketing is less about digital and more about marketing. Think about that for a second. What if the secret isn't chasing every new app or algorithm? What if it's about getting back to basics, the timeless art of just building real relationships with people?
So what if there was a map for all this? Seriously, what if we could just throw out all the guesswork? Imagine having one single, proven framework that could guide every marketing decision you make, no matter what new social media platform pops up tomorrow.
Well, good news. That map totally exists. It's called the Customer Value Journey, and it is the proven template for marketing success. This is the core idea we're going to break down, step by step.
Okay, so what is the customer value journey exactly? Well, here's the official definition. It's the 8-step process every single prospect goes through to become a new customer, and this is the important part, eventually a raving fan. It's not magic, it's a predictable path for building that relationship.
And here it is, the map itself. This is the master template for modern marketing. Now, I get it. At first glance, it might look a little intense. But trust me, every single box, every arrow here has a purpose. This is our roadmap from total stranger to superfan.
All right, let's dive in. We'll start at the beginning, from stranger to customer. This first half of the journey is all about one thing, getting a new customer. We're going to look at the first 4 crucial steps.
And you'll see it's a really logical path. First, they have to become aware you even exist. Then they engage with your content. After that, they subscribe, giving you their contact info. And finally, they convert by making their first small purchase. See, it just makes sense.
So, step 1. Aware. This is super simple, right? People can't buy from you if they don't know you're there. This canary ad is a perfect example. It's just a Facebook ad. They're not trying to sell you the whole system right away. They're just raising their hand and saying, hey, we exist. Here's something that might solve a problem for you.
Okay, so now they know who you are. Next up is the engage stage. And listen, this is really important. We're still not selling anything. The whole point here is to start a conversation, to build a little bit of trust by giving them something valuable or maybe even just entertaining. A great blog post, a helpful video, something like that.
So, you've engaged them, you've given them some value, now you need a way to stay in touch. That brings us to the subscribe stage. This is where you make what the guide calls an ethical bribe. I love that term. You're offering something with real value, like this big ebook from Salesforce, in a fair trade for their email address.
And now we get to the first time they actually pull out their wallet, the convert stage. But this is where things get a little weird. The guide makes this super counterintuitive point. It says the convert stage is not about profitability. Wait, what? That sounds crazy, right? But understanding this one idea is absolutely crucial.
So if it's not about profit, then what is it about? It's about one thing, and one thing only, acquiring a customer. That's it. You do this with a really low-cost, high-value offer that's easy to say yes to. This old GoDaddy deal is the classic example. They aren't trying to get rich off a $2.95 domain name. They're just trying to change the relationship, to turn a prospect into a customer. The real money, that comes later.
Okay, so you got a customer. That is a huge win, seriously. But believe it or not, we're only halfway through the journey. Now we shift gears from getting a customer to growing the relationship. Let's look at the final 4 steps that turn that first-time buyer into a true fan.
This back half is all about building momentum. First, you excite them with a great experience. Then you help them ascend, which just means they buy more from you. That leads them to become an advocate, saying good things. And the final goal, they promote you, actively telling everyone about you.
All right, the excite stage. This one is so important. Think about it. If someone buys something from you and they have a bad experience or don't know how to use it, they are never coming back. This Evernote email series is a perfect example. They don't just take your money and disappear. They actively teach you how to get the most out of their product, making sure you feel great about your purchase.
Okay, so once your customer's happy, once they're excited, now they're ready to ascend. And remember that convert stage wasn't about profit?
Well, this is where the profit is. This is where you offer more value. The Southwest Early Bird Check-in is the perfect example. Hey, you already bought a ticket. For a little more, we can make your trip even better. It's a no-brainer for a happy customer.
Now we get to the final 2 steps, and a lot of people mix these up. Advocate versus promote. The difference is actually really simple, but it's super important. It's all about passive versus active. An advocate is passive. They'll say nice things if somebody asks them. But a promoter, they're active. They'll bring you up in conversation without anyone even asking. And this side-by-side just nails the difference. Look at the left. DSW is asking for a review. That's a classic way to create an advocate. It's a prompted, passive thing. But on the right, Dropbox is giving you a real reason, free space, to go out and tell your friends. They're not just asking for support. They are incentivizing you to become an active promoter.
So there you have it. We've walked the entire 8-step journey. The big question now is, what do we do with this? Well, this isn't just a cool theory. This becomes your marketing master plan.
When you have this map, the real job of marketing becomes so much clearer. It's simply this: to move customers intentionally through these 8 stages. That's it. Your job is to build the campaigns and the content that help people take that very next step, guiding them all the way from stranger to fan.
And when you start thinking this way, everything changes. Marketing is no longer just guesswork. It's not about throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. It becomes an intentional journey that you create.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Looking at this map, where are your customers right now? Where are they on their journey? And more importantly, where are they getting stuck? What's the one thing you can do right now to help them take that next step?